Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-Trent. Today we're doing some fun little cute Easter cards. I've got a bunny and a chick. I go over how to draw this and paint this step by step. If you're a Patreon member, you get to download the traceable. Also, the longer version, more unscripted version is on Patreon too. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we'll go over supplies. I have 2 pieces of Arches 100% cotton cold press paper, 4 by 6 inches. 4.5 inches by 6 inches. You can just mount them on a cardstock instead of just using this as a card, or you can just make a postcard kind of out of this if you want to do that. I just place it on a cardboard so you can see this. My palette here, I'll go over all the colors as I use them. My brushes, I'll have a Princeton 8-4 long round and a Grumbacher number 10 brush. My water jars are always here, right there. I don't know if you can see them moving stuff around, sorry, making noise. Paper towels also. I already have sketched out my bunny and my chick. If you're a Patreon member, you can download the traceable that goes with it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to draw it real quick. The bunny and the chick. So you think of things, I always tell you people to think of things in shapes. We'll do the chick first. Might be much easier. So chick first, you can think of like a round circle for the head, right? Make it a thicker marker. You can see better. And then the body would be kind of like another round circle. And then you're going to put the wing, just kind of a curve, and then a line this way. And then you erase all this other junk in here and just keep the outward line here, right? And then the little beak is a triangle and the eye is a circle. But all this shape, you're gonna go like this, wiggle, wiggle the line to get the chick body, and then the legs, just as little legs like that. And then the ribbon, the bow. That's the chick. And an Easter egg, well, you're just kind of drawing a oblong shape here. And the tulip, just bring a line curving going this way, and then just kind of like a do a U. If you can't do like a real fancy tulip, just do a simple basic tulip. But a fancy tulip was like a U. I show you how to draw tulips in my tulip tutorial. You can go like that, and then the line, the we call it the tulip leaves. Goodness gracious, my brain is not working today. I think it's not working period this year. So for bunny, you know, you've got the ears, but let's do the face. So we can start off the smaller area, the rounder area for the bottom of the face, right? And it's kind of have this. I know this looks kind of goofy now, but you'll erase all this, right? It's kind of give you a structure. So down here we'll have another section, will be the nose. So then we get this like rounded triangle line down for the mouth. And then over here, we're going to make this eyeball, it's like this. Just like this. And little eyelashes. And then for the ears, see? It's making sense now, right? And then you do an inside, smaller one for the inside inner ear. And just go like that for the body. And then we'll have the ribbon like that. You see how that makes sense for the bunny? So it's kind of like an oval with another half circle. Then you got these oblong like ear shapes, right? Separated the eye on both sides of this where these two meet. Just like that. And the little lashes. And then you put a line out here. And there you go. If you have any questions in the comment section, but I have the traceables on Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, go check that out. If you're not a Patreon member, hit that little thing right there and you can go to Patreon and check it out. All right, so let's get started with the bunny first. We're going to go pretty quickly here. I'm going to probably use my Grumbacher. I want to do a loose style. I don't want it to be serious. I have my vandyke brown here. Just going to mix up some vandyke brown. I'm gonna add a little yellow. And we want some browns, some grays. Now on this section of my palette, I have grays and blacks. I always like to use I cheat and use a black gouache because I can, and why not? Other, you know, watercolor artists will just mix all the colors to make black. You can do that, or you could buy Paynes gray. So I've got the black here too. And I have it on this side and go back and forth. So when you can't see the paints, when you say a gray, mix up the gray. You know, you don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. So I got the Van Dyke brown here. I might do a lighter brown over here with the yellow. So I got the brown and I mix it with some yellow. See, it's a little crumb of yellow. And I'll add a little magenta. Oops, that's a little too pink, right? Constantly making this color. Here we go. It's like a pinky brown kind of color. And I might throw a little of that black in here just to dull it down a little bit. And put in the brown here. Okay, so we got a couple browns going. We want this really loose. So I got my Grumbacher brush, cleaned it off after I mix up the paint. I'm gonna do wet on dry on this. So I'm gonna take that lighter brown that I made, and I'm just gonna go in here, and I'm just gonna wiggle in that color. See, I'm not really painting anything super intense, just throwing this color really in fast while it's still damp. We're gonna play around with that. So you wanna get a good amount of like this medium to light yellow, brown, kind of reddish brown. Just kind of throwing that in pretty quickly. La la la. So it's still damp. Just go around the eyes and hit the bottom here. We can work on the bottom half afterwards. We're just doing the top half right now. And now we're going to grab our darker Van Dyke brown. Kind of start putting in some of that up here and over here. A little bit down in here. Out here. We didn't have to do this first. You could just do wet on dry. You know, I'm just going to throw in some darker tones throughout this bunny. And if you feel like it's too dark, you don't even have to make the bunny brown, actually. You can make the bunny gray. So I'm going to go in here to put some dark color down here. If you want the bow to be a pretty color, you might want to work around the bow, which I'm kind of doing. And now I'm going to grab some darker grays, even still put it out here, a little bit out here, and down here. And the gray with the brown that I mixed up over, you saw me mix that color over on the side here. Here it is. It's like gray. Just going to go right on top in here. Just going to tap that in there. This is all going to dry later too, by the way, because watercolor dries much later. But did you see how fast I'm just painting that in here? Go back and grab that pretty reddish brown. If it still seems a little too dark, you clean up your brush, right? And just kind of lift up the paint with your brush. See? You don't want it so dark. You can kind of lift it up. If you want it lighter, cuter bunny color. You don't have to have it this dark. See how I lift it up with the brush and then go back to the paper towel and lift it up? And that, you get your cute bunny color. All right? Gonna put a little in here. So at this point, see, I got a little brown cheek there. What happened? It happens to everybody. We can make mistakes ourselves. You can get a little darker, less water, a little more concentrated in some of the colors, the browns. And if you take, excuse me, when I take the brush and kind of just wisp out some, you know, because bunnies have fur, voila, wisp out. Just kind of move this movement out like this, so it's kind of like you see the fur. You do that. And then for the ear, the inner ear, we're just going to take some magenta, a little bit of this cadmium yellow deep. I want the ear to have a blush tone, so that's pretty intense. And I'll just water it down. And I'll tap it on my paper towel. I don't have that blush tone. See, now it's pretty blush. Because I use more water. But then I always tap it on the paper towel to take off the excess water, because you might end up putting a blob of water down. And you don't want to do that. And grab some more of this paint. And I can put some more darker color in here. Some pretty blush. Isn't that cute? Now for this part, I have my grays over here you saw. We're gonna use that same blush. Take the blush, really tap it. Just gonna put it on the cheek. Cutie cheek. Pretty. Cute cheek. But then also take it, the grays, and water it down. See, I'm watering it down by using a paper towel. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it takes off that excess paint. So I'm adding little gray tones to this white area because it looks too white. See? Just put in some of this gray. Might get a little darker on the bottom here. We're keeping it fairly light with the blush. I can go back in again and add some more blush. Cute little cheeky cheek. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. And if I think it's a little too dark on top, I might lift up that paint again. Oops. Or I could grab a paper towel and really lift it up. I don't want it too dark. Okay, just like that. Flipping this around. And this is where I'm going to grab my Princeton 8 long round. I'm going to just make a nice pretty pink bow. You can use whatever color. It can be pink, it can be purple. Making a deeper blushy kind of tone with the magenta and the yellow. And less water is the key for this one because you can make it dark, or I'm going to put some more water and actually make it lighter too. Combination. Just going to add a little cute bow. Just like that. Really loose. Just fill that in. I might go back and grab some paint and make it really concentrated with minimum water just to go in this section here. And when this dries, I can go kind of play around with adding in the darker tone. The blush ears should have a little bit darker tone too. Just go in and play around with that. It looks too flat. So you want to kind of get a little bit darker. See, like a little too dark, but a little darker in the inner part down going towards this section and then in here. All right, we're going to get to the eyes. This is where I like to use the gouache, the black gouache, because I like the intense eyes. So I'm just adding a little water to it. And it's going to make those eyes. I'm going to leave a little white halo, which means just a little like white dot. So I got that shape that I just talked about. And then I'll go in here. And I'm going to leave that white section right there. See, here we go again with this eye. If you forget about the white dot, you can go in and add some white gouache. And with just a little wispy eyelashes. Isn't she cute? And then for the nose, make sure it's not too wet, so you want it to bleed. Do that little V, little line down. Cute little mouth. And we're going to water that gray down a little bit. We don't want, sorry, the black. We don't want it too black. And with the nose. Just like that. She's looking cute. This is when you can take the 4, right? And I feel like this is a little too white down here. I'm going to add a little more gray. Be careful with this one though. You don't want to add too much. Just going to make it a little grayer. I don't want her to look like she has a beard either, too. Because that would be funny. All right, so I'm going to take the number 4 Princeton long round. Now at this point, if you think the bunny is still too light, which I kind of feel like it is. I want to get a little more contrast now that I put the thing in. I'm going to go take some more darker browns. I'm going to go in there and just place them where I feel like it should get a little bit darker for the bunny, like under the ribbon, right? Maybe a little bit over here. I'm just going to loosely kind of pushing that paint in. See, I'm just kind of wiggling it, putting the paint in. Still trying to keep it lighter on this side. So you feel like, okay, she's cute. Then we're going to have to let that dry because we want to do the whiskers. Oh, and I want to do it when it's completely wet. We want to make sure it's dry because then that whisker that we're going to put in is going to bleed. I'm going to go in. Okay, so it's all dry. We're going to take whatever dark grays or blacks we have. I'm going to make some fun whiskers. And you have them coming from this section outward, just like this. With the really, we take the number 4 brush, by the way. Really like, whoop, whisker. Got a bunch of whiskers. I think in my drawing I had a few, but you can just add a couple of skinny ones. Just like that. I'm going to make this nose a little bit darker. And that's it for the bunny. Like you can go back in with the red, the blushy color, and add a little of those, just the details of getting it a little bit darker, kind of on the center, down here. But I wouldn't fuss with it too much. It's supposed to be a loose painting. Get a little darker in here. Just gonna fuss with it just a bit, but not too much. And that's that. Bunny, check. The chickadee, another one we're going to do really loose and quickly. Obviously yellows, so we're going to clean up our little brown mess here. Although keeping some of that brown would be too bad because we don't want this yellow to be pretty intense. You don't want to water it down a little bit. So we're going to again take that Grumbacher. We want this really loosely painted yellow. I've got some brown mixed in this yellow, so it's nice. It's got a little, it's got a tinge of, it's taking that edge of that bright intensity yellow off. So we're going to do wet on dry. We're just going to plop in this color here in the wing. See, with the Grumbacher number 10 brush, I'm really just kind of putting this color in pretty quickly. Leaving the eye area. Again, we can do some little wisps with this brush around the body area. Going really fast here. And I'm not going to do the whole body, although we could do the whole body yellow, but if you want to keep it white and do some gray, I've got that gray. And just keep this part white. Just add a little bit of this gray on the bottom here to show that this part is kind of white. I think I might have put too much yellow on this section. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit with my brush. And I put a little gray down in here where the legs are. See that? And I'll go back and show you my yellows again. I'm going to get a little more intense with the yellow. I'll add some orange and brown. And get a little bit darker up in here. Just see, I'm just tapping the color in. And over in here by the eye and the wing. As it starts to dry, see, I'm just kind of making these marks that kind of go out like, almost like little curves. Get a little more tense behind the eye again. Don't be afraid to add some darker yellows. If you want to go back in and add some bright yellow, go ahead. See, I'm going to go add some bright yellow just to brighten it up. And I'll make those little wisps. Wisps. I think I did like the gray down there, but now I'm like, I think I'm going to add the whole thing. Make it yellow. Why not? And we already have the gray line down there so that it's got a nice shadow. We can go back in and add some brown to intensify that. I'm grabbing some of the Van Dyke brown, putting it under here. Because that wing is going to have like a shadow effect. Okay, so for the feet, add a little orange. I have brilliant orange here. A little brown. See, I'm mixing it with that yellow that I have here. Kind of go down. We're going really quickly here. Into the feet. Just really quickly. And then the beak. Put that orangey color. It might be look a little too goofy if it's bright orange. So I'm adding a little Van Dyke brown. I got a little too brown, so I'm lifting up some of that paint and going back in and adding that orange. We'll add the detail of the beak in a bit, but right now we're just concentrating on getting these colors down. So I'm going to add a little more brighter yellow to the feet. The web feet. And then I can tap in some of this really concentrated yellow color on the wing, around the eye, on the chest part of the bird. See, I'm just going like this movement. Do the little wisps again for feathers. We're going to make this really kind of quick. Quick and cute. All right, we're going to just stop with this guy for now. For the egg, erase that. Make it any color you want. I think I'm going to make purple. I don't have purple paint, so I'm going to make it. I have magenta mixed with some peacock blue. Makes a really pretty purple. And depending on how much blue I put in, it's more magenta or like a deeper magenta or a pretty purple. See? Depending on how much you put in there. So I have to water that down. It's pretty intense. Water that down. And then I'm just going to fill the whole egg in. Just like this. Make sure this part is kind of dry, or if it can't get dry yet, just make sure you don't paint right next to that chickadee so it doesn't bleed into the chickadee. So there we go. Now, many times I talk about this trick with wet on wet. While that's still wet that we just put down, it's still damp, you can go mix in a darker color, or you already have this intense color right here, and you can just kind of tap it in on the edges, just like so. And it will bleed into the center and give you that 3D kind of effect. The trick is not much water, enough water to have it bleed. See how it bled there? But not too much water where it's gonna just go blow your mind. Okay, well, we got rid of the purple. Let's do a pink tulip. Tiptoe to the tulip. Zoom in. So I have my magenta. I got a little bit yellow again. I'm constantly going back and forth with that color. Okay, I'll water this down. See, that's got a lot of water paint in there, and I'm adding a lot of water on the side. And I always tap my paintbrush on the paper towel if I don't want it too intense. It helps take off excess paint. And I'm just basically pushing in the color, making a simple tulip. We're not going to make a serious tulip here. Go back in. Now at this point, I grab some green. I have olive green watercolor, and I have olive green gouache that I kind of mix together. I know it seems counterintuitive, but I love the green gouache because it's bright, and the olive green watercolor is kind of like that olive green, and I kind of wanted to mix in between the two. Keep it bright, but yet just dull it a little bit. And I'll go in and just put that in for the leaves. Really just simple. With this brush, with the number 8, you just take the tip, you push down, pull back up, you've got the leaf. You don't even have to go in and fill in the little lines if you don't want to. I test it and see if it's still wet. It feels a little damp because if I go to put the green, I might not bleed. Okay, it won't bleed. Good. It's not going to bleed. Where it meets the wing, you want to get a little darker. So I might grab a little blue, Prussian blue, mix it with that green, and I'll just go in here, just tap in a little dark color. It's got a little shadow from the wing. At this point, you could take those greens too and make like those little cute grasses. I'm just going like this, see? This is movement like this. Nothing unique and special, just really simple. Now your egg, I'm going to make this really simple. You can just take that dark purple. I feel like the egg overpowered the chickadee. I might have done it a little bit lighter. You can still try and do that. I can try and lift the paint up, but I don't think it's going to work. I might have made it too intense. Yeah, it's not going to work. That's okay. So just take a darker tone of that purple, a value, and make some stripes. Just like that, really simple. I'll keep a little darker even still on the edge of this section here. See, this one got really dark here. Just gonna fill that right in. And then I'm gonna have a little bit dark where it meets the chickadee body. You can get even more intense right here on the edges. And it will look even more 3D. And then we'll go in and we'll add a little bit darker pink for the tulip inside, and then a little bit on the outside. I don't really want to care about making that perfect. And then we're going to go back in the chickadee. I've got some yellow, a little bit of teeny bit of orange, a little bit of brown. We're going to go in and do some more wisps again. Brighten it up because it dried fairly light. I want it bright. Chickadee. Okay, I'm going to go back in with that orange beak again. Kind of get bled out there. Just like that. And when this dries, we're going to go in and put a little line in there to make it have like a little smile. And the grass, see, the grass dried light, one color. We can go in and add some deeper tones. I'm going to just put some Prussian blue in with my green and some brown. And I've got this nice dark green. Less water, and I can just go back in and even do some dry brush strokes. Same brush. Not too many again. I want that loose look. Like that. And you could put grass under here, really loose. See, I'm just gonna washing in some green. Be careful getting next to the little beat. And as that color is washed in, you can go in and add some brighter green, just like that. Now you didn't have to do that. You can just skip the grass. I'm playing around with adding in some more color in here. Okay, so we're going to let all this stuff dry and come back and finish up the eye and little details and call it a day. Okay, so once that's dry, I might go and grab my small Princeton number 4, do the eye. You can do the gray, the black. Black will be more intense, but I think the black will be better. So you want to do the circle, inner circle from that white area, and leave the white halo again. See, now the eye looks like it's awake. And for the beak, you can grab some brown Mix a little orange here. I'm just going to do that line right in here. See, now she's smiling. This curved line right in the middle of that beak. Put a couple of little marks, dark marks out here. Just a little, you can see that up close. I put the line right in the middle. So it looks like she's smiling, and then you got these little wisps, kind of where the beak is. You can grab some of that brown, just put some little dashes around the bottom here and around here, just get some detail. Not everywhere. We don't want to go overboard. Right? Just kind of like here and there. Okay. And that might look like she has a beard, so I might erase that. Just like that. While that's drying, you can go in and do some detail with that, the grass again. You can go back in and add some nice bright or darker grasses. And the feet we're going to make a little bit darker too. Woohoo! Little teeny grasses right here. You want to do a combination of the two. And I would get the feet just a little more brighter. I grab some of that bright orange. A little bit darker up here. It kind of like washed away. And some of that yellow. Just brighten the feet up a little bit. It's too orange. I'll just go back in here and take out some of that and add some of the bright yellow. And maybe a little brown up in here, where it meets the body. And then for the tulip, I can go in and add a little bit darker here towards the tulip, and then just some lines on the leaves, just to give it some joie de vivre. Okay, and now we're going to do our little bow. We still have some of that purple left over. I mixed some brown in by accident. I think I'm going to do purple again. Okay, some purple. Make sure it's not wet. And I'll go and I'll do the little cute bow. Hello. Just like that. You could do flowers instead of a bow. And again, add a little darker here. The stripe. Just this is where I tweak it. Just like that, and a little bit darker where it meets the birdie boo. And that's that. Bunny and a chick, chick and a bunny, and there you go. Happy Easter. I got a little yellow hair. You won't even notice, right? If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. You know, I showed you how to draw this, but if you're a Patreon member, again, you can download the traceable and have fun with this, guys. You could add more eggs, stack them up. You could put flower of where they, yeah, you can put flowers instead of a ribbon. I mean, no one says you have to put a ribbon there. Nobody's making you do this. You just pick whatever you want to do. You could put daffodil on their arm, different type of flower, branches, you know, go to town. I want you guys to do some stuff that you think you can do on your own that's different. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming here so much. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up. Don't forget to check out Patreon. It's a place where you guys can support my channel, which I appreciate so much. You know, YouTube isn't the biggest supporter of, you know, it's a good platform, but Patreon is a really good supporter for creators on YouTube and podcasts. So I appreciate you guys for supporting me over there. If you have any questions, again, leave them in the comment section. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.